It was an unusually quiet afternoon in our small suburban home in Virginia. The kind of day when the breeze rustled softly through the trees, whispering, not chilling. I had taken the day off from work, a rare luxury for me. My name is Rachel and I work as a high school counselor. My world has always revolved around listening, guiding others, helping them find their voice. I never imagined I'd be the one left searching for words or direction. I'd been married to David for 7 years. He was a good man, strong, dependable, kind, though sometimes a little emotionally distant. His son from a previous marriage, Ethan, had come to live with us full-time 3 years ago, after his mother moved to the West Coast with her new husband. Ethan was 17 when he moved in, awkward, quiet, and emotionally closed off. For months, he barely said more than 10 words at a time. But I was patient. I understood the pain of broken families. By the time Ethan turned 20, he had grown into a tall, confident young man. He was respectful, hardworking, and surprisingly intuitive for his age. He had just completed his sophomore year of college and was home for the summer. Our relationship had always been solid, built on mutual respect and quiet understanding. I never tried to take his mother's place, but I was always there for him. That day, I was folding laundry in the living room when I realized I hadn't seen Ethan since breakfast. I assumed he was still asleep, but it was already well past noon. Curious, I headed upstairs and knocked softly on his bedroom door. No answer. I turned the knob and gently peeked inside. "Ethan," called. Still no response. I stepped in, thinking he might have his earbuds in. His room was fairly tidy. Textbooks were stacked on his desk, and his laptop sat open on the bed. I was about to call his name again when I heard a faint sound coming from the bathroom. The door was slightly ajar, and steam spilled out from behind it. I hesitated. I didn't want to invade his privacy, but something felt off. It was a feeling I couldn't quite name. I walked slowly toward the bathroom, ready to knock, when I caught a glimpse of him in the cracked mirror through the doorway. He was standing shirtless in front of the mirror, back slightly arched, examining a long scar running down his shoulder blade. His expression wasn't one of vanity, but introspection, like he was trying to understand a story etched into his skin. He touched the scar gently, almost like it didn't belong to him. Froze. Not because of what I saw, but because of what I felt. Ethan looked older than I remembered. His jaw was sharper, his frame broader, his presence more commanding. In that instant, I realized how much time had passed. He wasn't the silent boy who tiptoed around the house after being left behind by his mother. He had grown into a man. And I had never truly seen him until that moment. Before I could step away, he turned slightly and caught my reflection in the mirror. "Rachel," he said, surprised but not embarrassed. I stumbled back, cheeks flushed. I didn't mean to barge in. I just came to check on you." He stepped to the door, wrapping a towel around his waist. "It's okay. I was just thinking." I gave a weak smile, avoiding his eyes. "I'll let you get dressed." Later that afternoon, I kept busy in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, but I couldn't shake the image from earlier. Not because he was half-dressed, but because I had seen something deeper, something heavy and unspoken in him. Ethan entered quietly, as he always did, and grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge. "Hey," he said casually. "Sorry if I weirded you out earlier." I looked up and let out a light laugh. "You didn't. I was just startled." He leaned against the counter and studied me for a moment. "It's the scar, isn't it? You've never asked about it." I set the knife down. "I figured you'd tell me when you were ready." He nodded, then took a breath. "It happened when I was 15, right before Mom sent me here. Her boyfriend at the time. He wasn't gentle." My stomach dropped. "Ethan, I didn't know." "It's okay. I never told Dad either. I didn't want to make things worse." I walked over and gently placed a hand on his arm. "You didn't deserve that. No one does." He looked at me, really looked, and for the first time I saw the pain behind the calm mask he wore. "I know," he said softly. But I think I've always looked to you too. I don't know, felt safe. I blinked away tears. You are safe. With us. With me. He smiled faintly and reached out to tuck a loose strand of hair behind my ear. The touch was soft and deliberate, and it made my heart ache. In the weeks that followed, something shifted between us. It was subtle, never inappropriate, but real. A kind of emotional closeness we didn't know how to name. David left for a business trip, 10 days away. And during that time the house felt different. Not empty but open. Like the air between Ethan and me had more room to breathe. We cooked together, stayed up late watching movies, and talked for hours on the porch about life, regrets, memories. I learned more about him during those nights than I had in 3 years. One evening, we sat outside as the sky turned from dusk to deep indigo. He leaned back in the lawn chair, stars reflecting in his eyes. "Do you ever wonder if things could have gone differently?" he asked. I looked at him. "What do you mean? If life had been fairer? If we'd met in some other way? If I weren't your stepson?" My heart skipped. I hesitated. "I try not to think in what-ifs," I said softly. "But sometimes yes. I wonder." He turned his face to me. "You're the only person who's ever made me feel like I matter. Not just as someone's kid, but as me." The words wrapped around us like a blanket. Warm, intimate, and weighty. "I'll always be here for you, Ethan," I said gently. "But we have to remember who we are." He nodded slowly. "I know. I just needed to say it." That moment didn't turn into anything reckless. It didn't need to. What mattered was that we saw each other, truly saw one another, not as stepmother and stepson, but as two people shaped by loss, longing, and love. When David came home, life returned to its usual rhythm. But something remained, a quiet understanding between Ethan and me. Silent promise. And though I'll never forget the day I saw him in that mirror, scarred, vulnerable, beautiful, I understand now that walking away wasn't about leaving. It was about being present, about loving someone just enough to let them grow, without crossing a line we could never return from. That summer changed us both, not by breaking boundaries but by deepening them. It reminded me that love wears many faces, and the truest kind is the one that protects, even when the heart yearns for more. So I stayed. I stayed as his listener, his protector, his family. Because sometimes the greatest strength is not in walking away, but in knowing when not to take a single step closer.